My name is Shannon Taylor, and I am the Director of Art and Restoration here at Children's Fairyland. The Wonder Go Round, which is the carousel here, it's an Alice in Wonderland-themed carousel. It's the oldest ride in the park. So it was installed in the park in 1956. It's basically gone through a few different iterations as far as paintwork goes and repair goes, and it's been needing a full restoration, top to bottom, for over a decade. That is sort of where we started with this project. From there, it's been looking at some historical sources for paint colors, doing sort of a rebuild of the actual internal components of the ride, really just as many things as you could think would need to be repaired have been repaired. Yeah, so it's been about 6 months of sort of full-on restoration work. Rust, sanding, doing a lot of just encapsulation coats. So they actually built like a bath in the back to get all the rust off. By the time they got off all the rust and it all came off, they realized oh, we just have to replace some of this because all of it was falling off. So trying to get as much of the problematic stuff gone. And the crown at the very top used to be this very sort of lacy Swiss cheese situation because I don't know if it had ever been replaced. It was a lot of work. Luckily, the bodies of the characters are fiberglass, so it was easy enough to replace either with fiberglass fabric or there's a fiberglass jelly. It's kind of similar to Bondo, and so patching those was pretty straightforward. And then the body of the actual ride, it was either metalwork or it was that fiberglass jelly again, just to sort of fill and patch and make sure everything was rust proof, and it was a lot of layers of product. The ride itself has gone through so many iterations, so many colors. The 80s was a particularly strange time color-wise for the ride, but it was kind of pulling some of the best bits of that and then looking at some of the first colorized drawings from Alice in Wonderland and pulling some of the colors from there too. So it's a kind of a best of as far as colors go, and then trying to stick with some of the original colors and the enamel panels that are on there that are the playing cards. Those are original to the ride, so those haven't been touched. Yeah, so it's funny, they're all sort of these secondary characters from Alice in Wonderland. Mad Hatter is probably the most recognizable, but there's also the walrus from Carpenter and the Walrus, so where they eat the oysters. And then the mock turtle, the griffin, the white knight. So a lot of these, if anybody's read Through the Looking Glass, it's reference to some of those characters. And then the last one, the dodo, yeah. So in my personal work, I'm a watercolorist. I've always loved fairy tales and sort of magical realism, and so I've always had an interest in that. I actually went to Fairyland when I was a little kid, and my mom went when she was a little kid, so it's sort of stayed with me. But yeah, here I work. I'm the Director of Art and Restoration here, but then I also am a professor at the California College of the Arts. So I teach there too. I teach in the illustration department, so it's all about sort of stories and your own sort of inner magical world and how you can explore that. And this is sort of an outward version of that.
So my name's Nick Mitchell. I'm the facilities manager of Children's Fairyland. Part of my job is to help restore some of the sets, or all of the sets that are surrounding and inside of Fairyland. So my role specifically with the Wonder Go Round was more overseeing the complete job of the restoration. So it's a merry-go-round. It runs off 220 gear and a simple 2-gear and chain system. Spins this around. The ride operator hits go. It engages the music and it engages the ride, and then it stops after, I believe it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes.